Rehoming is referred to a dog finding a new owner and just having no other connections, just finding a new home. Now we refer to rehoming for children also. In 2014, Justin Harris and his wife adopted 3 young girls in Arkansas. After about a couple weeks later, Justin and his wife discovered that 2 of the young girls suffered from mental illnesses. These illnesses caused them to physically throw rocks at each other's heads and hide sharp objects under the beds, according to Arkansas's Times. Justin and his wife decided that it was in the girls' best interest to live in another home. Sadly, just 3 months later, their new caregiver molested one of the girls when she was only 6 years old. In Arkansas, rehoming is not illegal. According to Washington Post, Harris is a Christian man that owned a daycare, but he just could not deal with the issues that the 2 girls had. We should take action and care about this problem because it's a bad situation and it's a monstrous act that people do. As an adopted parent, Simon states, aren't parents supposed to be the vanguard for saving children? Aren't they supposed to be the forefront for children protection? Those misconceptions are part of this problem. Rehoming is a problem because to be able to adopt a child, a person of record has to be gone over many times to see if everything is okay and they're fit for the child. They also have to do home studies to be sure the home is safe for that child, March states. There's a large amount of steps to go through before you can actually get a child to come to your home. We will solve this by making sure the adoption agency are checking back in with the family every other month and making sure everything's fine. After you adopt a child and they're there, they're yours, and the agencies usually never have anything to do with them after that, and that needs to change. We will discuss what some of the reasons are for an adopted child to be rehomed by their adopted parent and why so-called new parents choose rehoming over adoption. So in order to ensure that the young children get the support they need, it is imperative that we expose the problems, causes, and solutions to this horrifying rehoming problem that we have in the United States. According to Gordon, rehoming is not regulated, says Ann Hallaby in ABA journals. There's no legal framework to this. It's pretty much an underground affair. We will now talk about the reasons the new parents want to pretty much just give away their adopted children. I don't know who would want to do that. Tratzter states that adoption agencies do not currently provide full disclosure in regards to both medical and mental health issues with the children. This is a problem because parents are kept in the dark in regards to those issues. The agencies just don't really care about it, so they don't tell the parents. The parents that are adopting want the agencies to make it. The agency wants to make it clear that those children have good health, and when the parents get the opposite and they find out that the child's not, that's a huge setback for them. Parents do not want to deal with that, especially with an adopted kid that they know nothing about. So instead of going through an agency again, they rehome them by themselves, like putting them on the internet, and that's not alright. It's the wrong decision and a problem, especially for the children, because they think that they're in a new home and they're safe. Well, they're not. Second, we will be looking at some of the reasons parents choose rehoming over old-fashioned adoption. According to the Washington Post, the main reason Harris chose rehoming is because he was lied to about the adopted children. Everyone knows once you are lied to, you have no trust with that person, and that's what happened in this situation. Instead of going through the process again, he gave away the 2 girls, which is called rehoming and should be outlawed. It is not fair to the children at all because they have no say in it, and it's just wrong because you have no idea whose hands you're putting these young children's lives in. According to New York Post, rehoming is a transfer of custody of the child to a stranger without prior inspection of that home or that person. And no prior inspection of the new home by an official or without oversight of the court. We will now move on from the problems of rehoming and talk about the causes that will lead a person to rehome a child. According to Philip, the causes of children having mental and emotional issues includes being thrown around from home to home, being sexually and mentally abused, and being separated from their biological parents or mother. According to ABA journals, many parents of adopted children are desperate. Serious problems erupt when agencies don't screen potential adopted parents, or the child's special needs aren't disclosed. Often those needs result in neglect or mistreatment by birth parent or at the overloaded orphanages, which at the overloaded orphanages, these children don't get individual care. Second is what causes the parents to pick rehoming over adoption, is that they say the child and them do not have a bond, which that is a ridiculous reason. It is easy for them to just get on the computer and try to get rid of their child, Rebecca states. According to Babel, careless parents seek ways to just dump their kid internationally adopted children onto someone else when going gets rough. Clearly, our current state of adoption is weak and deeply dysfunctional. Therefore, to better ensure that this valuable service is carried out with professionalism, integrity, and careful work, action must be taken to reduce rehoming in the United States. First, it is imperative that we get rid of all the online chats that have to do with trying to find a home for a child, because that's nowhere to find a home for a kid is on the internet, especially on Yahoo Chat. According to Tuhei, there was a case of a woman that did not want her adopted child and found a home for her in just less than 2 days. She had no idea who the person was that acquired her. 2 days later, the girl went missing. You cannot trust anyone, no matter what. The agencies need to be aware of all the children's mental and health problems beforehand. They need to take more care of the child before adoption takes place. Agencies need to talk to the child and get to know them before they just drop them off at the family. The child being adopted, if under the age of 18, needs to spend more time with both the agency and the new adopted parents. The end result would be that there would be no more rehoming issues, or just less, because the adopted parents would know everything there is to know about that kid, and there would be no surprises. Right now, anything that we would do to support this would be better than it is right now. And finally, the United States needs to make a law against rehoming children completely, especially off the internet. This new law should state that after a child is adopted and those parents have gone through the process to get that child, the agency should revisit this family once or twice a month to see how the child is doing. They need to have evaluations of the kid and how the family reacts with each other. The end result of this would be that the child would be happy because they were involved in the whole situation. They weren't just dumped off in a family somewhere without them having a say. There wouldn't be any issue with rehoming because the agencies would take care of any problems that the parents would have because they would be all close together. Since you now know the different issues having to deal with rehoming a child, we must take action and do something about this. But by looking at the problem, causes, and solutions regarding rehoming children, perhaps we can ensure this will not happen ever again, especially just for the children's sake. No one wants to be considered a dog trying to find a new home. No, that's just not okay. To many people, this isn't an issue because no one thinks about being in that child's position. But just think about being in that position. We should start a petition in regards to rehoming children. Just think if you could not take care of your kid and you put her up for adoption and you thought that she was going to go to a great home and that's what they made it seem like, and then all this happened, like, what would you think? It's just horrible. It must stop.